Very few designers talk about the most important part of graphic design, which is the psychology of design, and yet even fewer people teach it in the way I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to show you some real life situations where designers can use psychology to elevate their graphic designs and the success of the designs to the client. And I'm even going to sprinkle some bonus tips along the way. So let's get it. The first situation is at the very start of any project, and that is to define the objectives. Without defining the design objective, you will automatically fail in terms of psychology on your design. The design will be completely lost from the get-go. The power move is to state your objective in one clear sentence and imagine how that would be explained in just a 5-second conversation. And this is how that should actually look. So on a gym poster, as a designer, we want people to sign up and to get contact information from this poster. So the goal or the objective here could be get people to feel an urgent need to sign up now because they're missing out otherwise. That's the objective, and it's very concise, and we know exactly what the design should achieve here. But as you can see, knowing this simple goal means we can make changes and design choices like this, and that changes the design structure and so on. Knowing the goal means we put more emphasis on the CTA being easily seen on this design. It stands out more, and the structure is very different to the first design. And that's because the first design was more focused on the guy in the middle and the slogan itself, and that means it had a different goal-driven narrative. But the next graphic design psychological tip is based around faces, and in this case of this design here, a cute face of a doggo. Humans are naturally drawn to images of faces, especially those that evoke emotion. But the question is, why should you even care about this? Numerous studies have found that designs which connect emotionally are more memorable and more impactful. They tap into viewers' intrinsic motivations, making them more likely to engage, share, act, and so on. So, if you can match up an emotion with the project's goal or the brief, you are then ensuring your design will be highly effective. A somewhat sad puppy with pleading eyes, for example, triggers empathy and compassion, and that compels people to take action. Using emotionally charged imagery aligns with the audience's feelings with your message. And so look at this poster here that aims to promote an event around a dog charity. Sure, we have a 2D illustration of a dog and a man, but the faces here will not likely trigger that much of an emotional response in the viewer. So we can use a more realistic image of an actual dog, one with cute pleading eyes, and this will surely appeal to the empathy of a viewer in a greater way. I mean, who can actually say no to this cute little thing here, right? It's simple, yes, but as a designer, you need to consider these small yet highly effective psychological moves on your designs. And here's a bonus tip. Use the mirror neuron effect. When viewers see an emotion on a face, they subconsciously mimic and feel that emotion. And if you pair this with a clear CTA, for example, adopt me today, this will reinforce that desired action. But let's break down this design here in terms of emotional imagery. Do any things stand out to you that could be seen in a way as psychologically appealing to someone's emotions in the graphics or the imagery? Well, firstly, the large, bold Club Social text dominates the design, immediately drawing the viewer to the idea of community and inclusivity. The hashtag symbol reinforces the feeling of social engagement as being part of a digital movement. Now, emotionally, this creates a sense of unity and belonging, tapping into the viewer's desire to join a collective or exclusive kind of group. Then also take a look at the neon green arrows and circular "Get Started for Free" button. These provide an energetic, inviting kind of vibe. Green is often associated with growth and progress and opportunity, and psychologically, the arrows guide the viewer's eye through the design, subtly encouraging actions by creating a visual path, as well as emotionally conveying positivity and progress. This design uses emotional imagery effectively by combining bold, energetic elements with trust-building visuals like blue tones and personalized avatars. It leverages feelings of community, excitement, and trust to influence the viewer and encourage engagement. Now, as a graphic designer, how you decide to use emotional imagery is completely up to you. You can do it really obviously, like the puppy dog expression, or you can do it in more subtle ways, such as the NFT design we just saw. The next psychology technique that the pros know how to use well is so important and truly a superpower move. It's the art of using familiar aspects to a design, and let me explain this by truly picking apart this beautifully designed style guide for the brand Cadillac. And by the way, you can actually find loads of style guides at brandingstyleguides.com. But the branding of Cadillac is a masterclass in using consistent design elements to foster a sense of dependability and reliability. But why should you actually care about using familiar design assets to the design audience? Consistency builds a sense of something familiar, and also it builds trust with the viewer. Now, you need to use this wisely on your designs, and especially in branding. Cadillac's branding is a masterclass in trust building. Their 2D crest and the Gothic typeface is always present and always consistent, whether it's on an ad, a website, or a car reveal. Now this taps into something called the mere exposure effect. The more we see something, the more we trust it. Then there's the heritage script, used sparingly like a signature on a masterpiece. It ties their modern identity to a rich history, blending past prestige with future promise, and it works well on any luxury brand. And then the gradients, a perfect balance of consistency and adaptability. Whether in print or digital, Cadillac's colors stay unmistakably on brand, reinforcing trust while keeping things fresh and never repetitive. But things do go far deeper with this psychological technique. The style guide incorporates cultural relevance into their design, and by adding subtle cues like regional patterns or local landmarks, they make their messaging feel personal and relatable, which further builds trust in diverse markets. And to briefly summarize, consistency in your design elements and creating a familiar sense with colors, typefaces, and logos does build trust whilst maintaining adaptability and keeps things engaging. Look closely at this perfume branding. There is a psychological trick that's woven into the design that you might not even notice, and it's called anchoring. First, the logo. It's an intricate design with a bold typeface, and it's not just there for style, it's actually an anchor. It sets the tone saying, hey, we're luxurious, we're timeless. This first impression influences how you view the rest of the design thereafter. And speaking of thereafter, we have the bottle. The deep amber and gold accents mixed with a pristine cut design signal premium quality. These rich colors and intricate design style anchor your expectations of a higher price or better quality, making the cost feel justified. Even the photography helps. The softly blurred background allows for the product and the logo to be anchored even more so. And psychologically speaking, anchors work by creating an initial reference point that influences your subsequent judgments, whether it's about value or exclusivity. And as a designer, you can use anchors like logos, colors, or settings to guide how your audience perceives your product or your design. And when done correctly, this technique not only grabs attention, it shapes your audience's expectations. Okay, let's take another design, and again we're going to look at this one with the view of psychological anchors. First, the athlete in midair is all about motion. This creates a dynamic anchor that ties the viewer to feelings of freedom or breaking boundaries. Also, it's an action shot that leads right back to the audience of Adidas, being sporty and dynamic. The modern urban backdrop features glass and steel architecture, and this anchors the viewer to the idea of innovation and progress. This somewhat sleek, futuristic setting complements the branding and reinforces a forward-thinking, modern identity. So you can see that the main anchor, or the first thing you see or notice, can be conscious or subconscious for the viewer, but it does set the stage and influences everything else from there, from the first impression. And to summarize, first impressions count a lot, but on your design, the anchor is the psychological first impression that should tie back to your brief and the message. Now, these psychological tips I'm showing you today really tap into the true nature of graphic design, or shall I say, proper corporate graphic design. Now, if you are learning about graphic design and the resources that you're using never ever speak of this sort of thing, you are missing out entirely. Especially as now with AI, the human decision making and application of psychology is more important than ever, and that is something only we can do efficiently. And if you do want to learn a new and a useful design process for 2025, just click that video on screen, and until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.